Relationship goals, relationship goals. Everybody wants relationship goals because they have to have an agenda to their relationship. What's a relationship goal? Get married. What's a relationship goal? Have children. What's a relationship goal? Get a house together. What's a relationship goal? Survive the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years together. Relationship goals. But even without the goals, what puts you in a relationship? Is it the you want to guarantee achieving these goals? Or is it really just the fundamental aspect that without these goals, you see no quality to life? You see no quality to partnerships, to romance, to boyfriend, girlfriend. You can still have a relationship, a happy, budding relationship, without this quotation relationship goals. But everything else achievable is completely practical. Communication is very important. I myself personally do not want children for a multitude of reasons. One, I really just don't feel very parentally inclined. I like my individualism and the idea of having time away from a partner that is still not occupied by a little devilish minion. That's just me. Another reason is that times have changed. It's financially, to me, I think it's financially crippling. Yeah, not impossible. People make it work, but I'm just going to be real. I really just don't even want to put the time, effort to re-navigating my life, to make ends meet because I decided to take on a responsibility. And for some reason, I cannot sit on that firmly and confidently, even though I know that's how I feel. I think it's because I look at the duality of the psychology of the world, and it's like rare. It would be rare for me to find a woman who I was interested in, who was interested in me, and we happen to have the same mindset about quoted relationship goals or the lack of relationship goal achieving. Right. Why can't we just date how we used to be when we were younger? Get to know people, enjoy each other's time, right? And then comes the paradox of like, well, one of us is going to have to take the extra precaution to not have children. And I think that sucks too, because I want to have open, free, pro bono sex and just come inside any woman who I deem to spend my life with. And that's a big thing because I have to pull out. And I don't know if you ever have been a dude with a dick, but let me tell you, personally, having sex with a woman just to stop having sex with her and to proceed by masturbating briefly to ejaculate, it just seems so shallow and pointless and empty, you know? Real shit. I have grown to, I'm 34 years old. I have grown to enjoy the aspect of having full contact sex. And some people are like, well, Mr. Crawford, if you have sex that way and you go about things that way, a woman could get pregnant. And that's completely counter to what you said you believed and wanted. And it's like, yeah, I know. And then they would say, well, why would you just not pull out? Because it just seems shallow and empty and weird. From a guy's perspective, a woman probably doesn't care, you know? But I feel like from a man's standpoint, I wouldn't want to spend, hypothetically, even if we got married and we both were like, no children, I don't want to spend the greater part of my relationship coming on your face, coming on your tits, coming on your ass. It's weird to say it that way, but I would like to come inside my woman's vagina, you know? Realistically, if we were going to be completely perfect world, I'd rather have a woman who went out of the way to get her tubes tied, because she was just like, fuck it. But then comes the psychology that I had a relationship where I don't think the woman I was involved with could get pregnant, but I don't think she told me that because she didn't want the relationship just to basically come down to us just conveniently liking each other and having sex. Why? Because I think she thinks that maybe I would be taking advantage of the idea that we could not have children. But it became such a problem because I did not care at the time and she did not want children at the time, but we were still in the midst of fornicating, and she made me feel terrible. She held it against me as if, and my whole philosophy is like, I'm 33. I was 33 at the time. Like, I'm 33. We were 3 years straight. I'm like, I'm 30. We're in our 30s. Like, I am trying to take that step in life to branch away from the promiscuously bachelor life I had in my 20s because I want something permanent, you know? But now, I just don't have that passion. I just don't even care, you know? That's a kind of a thing that I'm like dealing with. I feel like I'm dealing with it. So I'm walking down the street and I'm looking at my life and I'm like, don't let that shit get you down. Go to work, get your car, get yourself in shape, and just leave dating alone. I'm not the type of guy who wants to go out and just, I'm single to mingle. You want to know why? You want to know truthfully why? Because it seems insane and it seems almost pointless. Don't get me wrong. I've been that. I've gone out to bars and I've had my nightstands and all of that, But it's the fact that to make that a lifestyle, to go out and try to pursue different partners. You want to know why? Because I rudimentarily believe if two people are just fucking and they like just fucking and they generally get along with each other, they really have no reason not to make a thing out of it. But some people don't like to make a thing out of it. No strings attached. No strings attached. I can't do no strings attached. I can do distant puppeteering, but I can't do no strings attached because I'm monogamous, I really am okay with having sex with one person, one woman for the rest of my life. Why? Because pussy is fucking pussy. You know what I mean? I know some people are like, feelings. I do believe in bonds and relationships and things like that. And I do see the aspects of having a special person, one person. A guy has a special girl, a girl has a special guy that they make a commitment to. And I think the idea is that no one believes in committing to anything, And so it's like I have to change my mentality about the world now, right? It's like, right, I feel like life is trying to make a choice, and it's like, look, you can either sleep around and not do anything risque as far as parenting and things like that and all of that, or you can be traditional and focus on finding a woman to get married and have children to. But mind you, the latter is going to have problems, and it just doesn't seem cool, And it's like, well, what if you're I always say I will leave it to my woman. Why? Because I would assume we had everything, stable. But these are transgressional ideas that I've kept throughout my life, back when my life was stable. In this pivoting point in my life, it's just going to be hard either way, So I feel like I just shouldn't even go there. So it's like, what are we going to do? Have a sexless marriage? Am I going to have a sexless marriage? Am I going to have a woman who we're going to get through our moments? And then what? Are we going to contemplate? Are we going to keep it on the ballot in case she changes her mind? So we're not going to get our tubes tied or vasectomies? Are we just going to have safe sex? I do plan on getting married, Why? Because I would like that genuine idea quality of having a person. Legit. Like, it's crazy. Some people are like, what? Yeah, to have a person that you love and you experience life with, that she loves you and you love her. That's fine. I want that shit. I think that's fun. That's normal. That's how people date, on just interested in things. But as adults, we now see how everything kind of coincides into a relationship. And it's like, can't we just fucking be honest? If I meet a woman, it's like, I like you. She's like, I like you. And I was like, I'm open to marriage. And she's like, I'm open to marriage. And it's like, I'm not really feeling kids though. She's like, I'm not really feeling kids though either. Is that just like a lingering thing and we can semicolon that and be like, but maybe one day in mutual agreement? Or is it a deal breaker off the get-go because she sees the whole aspect of a relationship being pointless because in her face it's not going anywhere, and I have to sit and be like, well, we are not linking up. So it's like we have to make up our own mindsets of it. But then I point to say, as a guy, can you imagine this if you're a girl, can you imagine the guy's like, hey, look, I'm feeling you. I don't want to get married. I don't want to have children. Let's get together and do a thing. Or, hey, I want to get married. I don't want to have children. Would you marry me? I guess the question is, how would a woman feel about being married with no children? I think that she should be happy with the person she chooses to marry, because the idea of marriage is becoming fickle. Why? Because it's so roped up in children. Seriously, it's all of that. And I'm thinking to myself, like, why are you doing No Nut November? One, fad trend, but two, I really just like coming inside. I don't even call it a fetish. It's just like, that's just, I just want to do that. Like, I don't know. Like, This is only because of the last relationship I had, because every moment we had, I took the liberty to make sure that I got the pipes filled, or whatever you want to call it, Nothing came of it, and she didn't make it seem like anything great, and kind of put me into a negative mindset about the whole thing and like just damaging things, like just saying damage, just being toxic and stuff like that, So it's like, I just feel like I'm just enigmatic, So it's like, oh, go down the slave route. Yeah, because that is just way less confusing, right? And then some people are like, no, some women actually, they will prefer an alternative lifestyle relationship because no children are involved and all of that. And it's like, you know what? That's great. That's fine. If that's a construct, a template that me and a woman wants to work around and all of that, that's good. But I'm having a real big issue with lack of communication. And it's like, I'm kind of fed up with it, That's just how I feel. You think, right? You think I had, no, I am alone. I've always been alone, and I've never had that interpersonal connectivity with a person that says it meant something, I was thinking about how, yeah, women want promises about marriage and children. Not all, but some do. But it's like, but they want a man who loves them to go through with the hardships of life, no matter what happens. And it's like, we really can't make promises that everything is going to be fine. No matter how hard we try, we really can't make a promise on that, We can't. You want to keep a simple routine life, go to work, pay your bills, and come home. But what if you get into a car accident and you're crippled and you can't work? Downer, right? Or you want to be with somebody for the rest of your life because it's fun. What if they end up getting into some kind of serious medical condition and it changes the whole relationship, because now you love them and you have to be put into the role of caretaker, which is fine depending on how you approach the situation. Personally, in my mid-30s, I would not want to sign up the next 40, 50 years of my life being a caregiver, because I got the short end of the stick in life. And I'm just going to say it. I don't even care, because I've had moments in my past where I thought I had met the one girl, the one, and life had a critical condition on her psychology and all of that, and she became mentally unstable. That's actually only happened twice, but it is a very eye-opening truth that anything can happen. And it's like, I generally just don't like that. Another girl told me, it's just easier to take care of yourself. And it's like, yeah, you're right. It is. But the thing is, though, I don't have a life. I don't, for 6 years now, I don't go out to bars anymore. I don't sleep around anymore. I go to work and I come home and I sit and I drink. I let the days blend through and I try to save money. Why? Because I have to take care of myself, and I have to retire in 30 years, and no one's going to help me do that. And even when it comes to relationships and that, I do believe in not codependency, but two income sharing and things like that, because we mutually see life as a benefit. But I just don't think me and women are on the same wavelengths. Why? Because I feel like at the end of the day, most women are sitting with the idea that they are going to fall into the role of getting married and settling down and having children with a man who can financially take care of all of that for them. And it's like, even without that aspect, just being a guy in general, most women are looking towards to that. So you take on the idea of inflation, trying to make ends meet, and trying to live an aspect life of traditionalism where men are put into this level of stability and being providers in a world that is literally economically battling against them. It's like, you can just take care of yourself, But it's a lonely fucking road. And some people won't admit it. They're trying to have the uptakes of it. But when they really sit back and look at the scope of themselves, their life, how they choose to live, and the world they live in, and how they need to adapt, they realize they're not interested in it anymore. And they're sad. So I'm kind of sad, It's a little sad. I'm a little unmotivated for dating. I don't really see the joy and ambition for trying to get myself into the mindset of thinking, oh yeah, I'd love to be a dad. I had that. It got shit on and curb stomped. I had that, And so it's like, well, try to gain some relationships, to where you feel comfortable. Oh yeah. Yeah. Even if I put sex on the back burner, even if I focus on something that's a little more structured and things like that, communication. And women have tons of insecurities. You want to know why? Bad dating history. I was saying earlier, my dating pool consists of mostly single moms, ironically single moms whom in themselves don't want to have more children, women who are not single moms who ironically decided they don't want children, or they're married with children. That's it. Like, there's really not a whole lot of wiggle room,
Wait.
So, like, maybe I'm just spazzing too much about it. Maybe I have to do a little bit of a soul search, Maybe I have to find myself, rekindle my ambition for life and all of that. Because I really just don't want to simp out traditionalism because I know that's what every woman wants. I feel like I owe it to myself to go down a lonely, miserable road and say, I cannot fulfill all of your dreams and relationship goals 100%. And off the get-go, you losing interest, you know what I mean? It's true. It's true. Why? Because I'm the guy and women don't want to see as though their relationship doesn't have meaning and value. Even though it is easier for a woman to approach a man and be like, I don't want to have kids. And guys generally don't care. That's what I'm saying. I generally don't care. I don't want children, but I just don't do sleeping around, So I don't know. It's getting to me, like, kind of, because I have to reprioritize my mindset, and I'm doing critical thinking because I'm getting older, Yes, maybe I'm trying to recover from a bad emotional roller coaster, and I'm supposed to be here in Fresno doing a new thing, a new life, having fun, getting my life together first, and then just like having fun and going out and all of that. But it's like, I'm 34 years old. It's not really anything that I haven't done. The only thing that I actually haven't done is gotten married and had children. So it just doesn't sound fun for me anymore. It really just doesn't sound fun for me anymore. And so I try to focus on a relationship and a bond and communication and love because I do value that. But it's so complicated in these situations because I'm dealing with a lot of codependent variants. Supporting and living as an individual versus actually having a girlfriend or in a relationship and coming together as a couple because we like each other. Big boundary barrier on that one, Allocating that whole paradigm. And people say there's no point. That's what people are saying. There's no point. Well, that's what I'm saying. It fucking sucks for me. Just me. It just sucks for me. There you go. Congratulations. It just sucks for me. Why? Because I get bombarded with people out there, well, why don't you just sleep around? Well, if you don't want kids, why don't you just sleep around? If you don't want to get married, why don't you just sleep around? Because I just don't want to just sleep around. Why? Because I'm a nice guy. Isn't it kind of ironic that when you have a nice guy who wants to kind of be a nice guy, everyone tells him, nah, do what assholes do. Just go sleep around. Fuck bitches and all that shit. And it's like, I don't want to be a womanizer. I don't want my reputation to be spread that all I do is want to get into girls' panties and I don't give a shit about them. Why? Because more than once is generally one time too many. I don't think, you want me to just jump beds for the rest of my life? Am I supposed to have this internal clock that says, nope, now is the time to settle down? I had that. It didn't work. Now I gotta try again. It's not the same scenario. It's not the same city. It's not the same place. And I got a whole other list of things I gotta do. So I'm just putting some thought to it, I gotta get through this cold weather, get through these holidays. And at the end of all of that, even if I get everything in order, get my car back, get a place to stay, and just have that simple life, who am I going to spend my time with? And what are her expectations? You're like, oh, just get a fuck buddy. On whose terms? I'm telling you, maybe I just have bad relationships with women and their mentality, but it just never turns out. Women don't understand it because most women, they have a boy toy that they just kind of like summoning. Why? Because that's just how women run the game. Most men probably have a girl that they could probably meet up with and link up with, but 8 times out of 10, she kind of wants to be with him for the structure of him being a man in her life. Why? Because she herself doesn't want to just jump through people. So it's like, if you want to be free flowing, be free flowing. But if you find someone that you like and you have chemistry with them and you get along with them and you communicate with them about your wants, your needs, your desires, your expectations, your lack of expectations, your relationship goals, or your lack of wanting to achieve relationship goals, you should still be with them. And yeah. The only reason I put marriage on a pedestal is because I've never been married. The only reason I put children on a pedestal is because I don't have children. And I just feel like without ever giving it the experience shot at life, it's not a fair decision. Yeah, maybe you could be a little bit intimidated by the idea of being a parent and all of that. Maybe the idea of being married can be kind of a daunting, scary thing. Maybe the structures of relationships in the long run have bad examples because people are dwindling off away from traditionalism left and right with all of these fickle materialistic reasons of individuality, independence, you have the freedom to live how you want, and blah, 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 blah. Or maybe not. So yeah, there's so much other stuff I can put into it about relationships and aspects of dating and goals and traditionalism and religious values and so on and so forth. But it's like, I'm tired, dude. And I can't even get a bitch to get me a fucking cup of coffee. Let alone you want me to go around and basically traditionally charm my way into a dating paradigm. Right. Again, hi, my name's Adrian. I'm 34 years old. I believe in marriage, but I don't plan on having children. Do you want to go steady with me? And a woman has to sit and think like, yeah, I do. So that's all. That's all I got on it. That's it, really. I just had to rant off for like 21 minutes. I know, I was getting pretty sad. I just wanted to go get like 3 tall boys and just go sit off and drink and be like, oh, what the fuck is this shit? And then I was like, fuck it, just go to work, save your money, and focus on the shit you gotta do, and maybe things will change. But honestly, at this point in my life, I don't see it. For me, going down that route of wanting to get married and having children, it's dead as far as a life ambition. There's nothing guiding me thinking, I'm missing out, I want this. That's done. That's dead. But it is a bridge that has not been crossed, that has been burned to the ground, but I could still make the jump. So, just shit like that. Some people are like, are you having a midlife crisis? Probably. I probably am having a midlife crisis. Like, so what are you gonna do? I'm gonna stick to what I believe, which is that communication and being open and honest about what you want and what you expect will keep everything balanced. And that's my focus point, communication. And that takes 2 people to contribute to that. Right. And they're like, you just have to be open-minded and understand these things. And that's why I always say, I'm not shunning it out completely, but honestly, I could give a shit less. So if I found a woman who had the same mentality, who was like, I'm not shunning it out completely, I could just give a shit less. Well, maybe we should talk. Maybe we should get to know each other. Maybe we should try to like each other and build on that, because maybe our minds will change one day. But rather than focusing on all the other shit, let's just focus on us first. Right. Let's focus on what we're doing. Let's focus on our life, our relationship. Why? Because no matter what route we go, the idea of marriage and bonding still stands. You think children last forever? No. It's a brief moment in time, and then they're out of the house. Now you're stuck with your partner. Yeah, you may have spent the last 20 years, the years of your 30s and 40s, raising them, and now you're 50, and people like that shit. Some people want to enjoy those younger years in life, you know? But, I don't know. I'm done ranting. I'm done ranting. I don't even want to go to the coffee shop tomorrow. I'm just kind of like, So, I'm glad we had that talk.